Hello everyone. So it's time to get started on our second card, which is an accordion card. Do you understand why it's named that? But before we get into that, of course I forgot to add gems to my previous card, so I just wanted to show what I do with that. So we have blooming pearls for this card class. Just to let you know how I store mine, this is a clear envelope. I've just cut off the sticky part of the flap. I write the name of the gem, which is blooming pearls. It's on the back, but I store them in a little bucket where they're facing forward so I can see the colors, and these are the actual colors that are used. So we're just going to grab some gold ones, I think. So let's see, and just some tiny gold ones. Some of these gold ones actually look a little silver. So one of the things you should do, which makes it a little easier, is if you burnish the back side, you're more likely to lift the pearl and the glue. So I'm just going to put one there, and one there, and one there. Easy peasy. You can lift them up with this, you can lift them up with your pick tool, whatever you like. I have tweezers out right now, so that's what I'm using. Anyways, just thought I'd show you that, how I finished off the first card. Now, let's get on to the second card. So this is called an accordion card because it opens like an accordion. Remember those old accordions? My brother-in-law used to play it, I believe. Anyways, so here we're scoring on this pink cardstock, which makes the base of the accordion. So let's talk about how that works. If you look at the instructions, it says, and I'm just going to pull them out so I actually read them literally. Hang on. Because I thought I wrote it so well. It says to score the berry burst, and can you see these scored lines? One here, 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 and here. So score the berry burst at 1.5 inches, and I'm going to put a little highlighter mark at 1.5 inches so that you can see it. Oh good, it's on camera. And at 5.5 inches, which is the middle. This cardstock is 4.25. It's not 4.25 by 5.5. That was the other one. It is 4.25 by 11. So half a piece of cardstock this way. So it says to score those two lines and fold in the opposite direction. So 1.5 and 5.5, and fold on those scored lines. This was probably already folded in your oops, it's probably already folded in your kit. So this one goes this way, and this is what you have. So we're just going to use a bone folder to make sure it's a nice sharp crease, right? Because we like sharp creases, especially with an accordion. Otherwise the thing won't get into the envelope. So this is what we did first. Now the instructions say flip the cardstock over and score it 3 inches and 8 inches. So flip it over and score it at 3 inches and 8 inches. And this time you're going to fold in the opposite direction to these first scored lines. So if these two go this way, this one goes this way. And this one, this goes this way, so this goes this way. So it should be like an accordion. See that? And if you have, this way, you always have the fold going valley on the outside. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. And this is our little accordion. And the rest of it is pretty simple. So I did a little work off camera to make this go faster, because I know you really don't have to watch me do the simple stuff. So on the white scrap, this time I stamped with Heartfelt Sympathy, and using deckled circles, I die cut it. So you could use a circle punch, you could use a square, it doesn't matter. And then the instructions also say, out of the Summer Splash scrap to die cut another circle, another decal. So once you do that stamping, just glue those two together so that you don't lose them. Okay, so when the card is closed, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have the base, and we're going to put on this piece of white cardstock, and then we're going to glue this one on top. So, so I'm going to do it this way because I think it's easier to keep track of the layers. So I don't like losing track of my layers. Whoops, didn't get the beginning there. And this card is extremely easy to make, but because it looks unusual, it just has real wow factor. So the big base of the accordion is what's being glued to the card. So the card base. So just put adhesive there. And if you look at these, well, let's put this down first. I find it easier to glue it upside down. And it's supposed to be pretty well centered. So when you open it, these are panels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's the odd number ones that are facing up. So I used a different set of colors this time. I used the orangey and the pinky purple. So that will go on panel 5, this will go on panel 3, and this will go on panel 1. 1, 3, 5. So let's just glue them on real quick before we forget. And maybe you're organized and won't forget, but I sure forget. And when you cut these, you should try and cut them somewhat carefully, because if you have big differences, these are all 4 inches high. If you cut them very differently, when the card is closed, they'll look kind of a mess. So when the card's closed, it should look like it's straight across the top and the bottom. If it's off a lot, say you cut it really short, then when you close it, you know, if these are all different spots, it's going to be noticeable. So try and get the top and bottom margins to be clean and even. And the other thing is, when I chose my designer series paper, I don't talk about it in the printed instructions, but this time I did these two the same, and this one sort of contrasts with it. Here, these are not the same cardstock, the same designer series paper pictures, but they're similar in color. So again, this one contrasts. If you choose 3 different ones, for me it was too much, so I did that. The other thing I did is that people often find it difficult to write on dark cardstock, so I gave you another piece of white cardstock to put on panel 4, so you have a place to write your note. Oops, I see I have a little extra there. Okay, and the last thing to do is to add this. Well, first of all, I took a few inches of ribbon and secured it on the back with a piece of just regular tape. Now this is supposed to go on the front flap. You don't want to see glue on the back, and for two reasons. One, you don't want to see it, and two, it's going to get stuck here, so it won't be such a great accordion. So this is what I do. I put a little glue here on the back, and then I work out where it will be covering the front flap, and I add glue not quite the same margins. And then when you put it down, no glue shows on the back, and you can open and close this card with ease. The only thing left to do is to trim the ribbon. And I know we all, covet our ribbon and try not to waste any, but sometimes it's easier to trim if it's just a little bit longer. And there you go. We can, add a few gems. Let's see. My gems were right here a minute ago. They have now disappeared. Isn't that too funny? Do you do that? When you start creating, do you lose things from your work surface? Oh, there they are. And I think this time I want them to contrast a little, so I'm going to use some green. And I'm going to put it on this pink so that, because this is already a bulky card, so I'm going to have one large green and two little greens. Over there. And there you go. Nice little accordion card. Really simple to make. The thing you have to be careful of is to keep track of which way you're folding that accordion piece, and then just go to town with it. So that's it. Finish up your card, and we'll see you on the video for the next card. Thanks.